Welcome, dear listeners, to another heart-stirring tale that will move your soul and open your eyes. This is not just a story. It's a lesson about kindness, pride, humility, and how the smallest act of compassion can change lives forever. So, find a quiet place, sit back, and listen closely, because what you're about to hear might just stay with you long after the story ends. Please hit the subscribe button and share this with someone. Let's begin. It was a slow Monday morning in Lagos. The sky was heavy with dark clouds, and the air smelled of wet earth and coming rain. Traffic honked angrily in the distance. Vendors scrambled to cover their wares, and puddles started to form in uneven gutters. At the heart of a small intersection, where the old part of the city met the new, stood a modest roadside stall with a corrugated roof and wooden shelves. It wasn't much, but to Amara it was home. Amara was a soft-spoken woman in her late 20s. She sold seedlings and potted plants, basil, pepper, okra, tomatoes. Her hands were always stained with soil, and her clothes, though faded, were always clean. Each morning she arranged the tiny green shoots with care, whispering encouragement as though they could hear her. "Grow well, little one. One day, someone will take you home." Just across the street, in a tall glass building, sat Mr. Afolabi. He was a name that carried weight, an entrepreneur, real estate tycoon, and silent donor to many causes. Despite his power and wealth, he often wore a brooding face, like someone carrying an invisible burden. He had built his empire from the ground up, but something had hardened in him along the way. Kindness was weakness in his world. Time was money. He walked fast, talked sharp, and didn't smile much. But on this day, something unexpected happened. It began with rain. The clouds finally broke open, releasing a torrent that soaked the city within minutes. Amara quickly pulled plastic sheets over her seedlings and crouched under the awning. On the other side of the street, Mr. Afolabi rushed toward his waiting Range Rover, his assistant fumbling with an umbrella. As the car pulled out, its wheels slashed through a deep puddle and sprayed a heavy wave of muddy water directly onto Amara. Soaked from head to toe, Amara gasped. The street went quiet for a second. A few onlookers hissed in pity. A market woman shouted, "See what you do." But Amara's reaction was strange. She looked down, smiled faintly, then took a small basil plant from the table, wiped its leaves, and said gently, "Well, at least you're still green." From inside the car, Mr. Afolabi saw everything through the window. He saw the mud, the woman's soaked wrapper, her calm face, and the way she touched the plant like a friend. He ordered the driver to stop. Silence in the car. Then the window rolled down. "You," he said. Amara looked up. "Come." She hesitated, then walked closer. "I'm sorry for the mud," he said flatly. "It wasn't intentional." "It's only mud," she replied simply. He stared at her, surprised. "Take this." He handed her a crisp bundle of cash. Amara looked at it, then shook her head. "I don't want money, sir." He blinked. "Excuse me. If you want to help," she said, "buy a plant. Help something grow." He paused. Then, without a word, he stepped out of the car, walked to her stall, picked a small seedling, and paid. She gave him a warm smile. "That one is strong. It survives anything." He nodded once, then left. That night, in his penthouse, Mr. Afolabi placed the seedling on his marble kitchen counter. For the first time in years, he looked at a plant and wondered what it meant to nurture something. The next day, his son, David, visited. David was 32, charming, ambitious, and every bit his father's heir. He ran several tech ventures and had recently gotten engaged to Bella, a social media influencer known more for her designer heels than her humility. "Dad," David said, spotting the plant, "you're redecorating with vegetables now?" Mr. Afolabi gave a rare smirk. "Someone gave it to me. Looks like it belongs in the gutter." Bella laughed, walking in behind him. "No offense." He didn't reply. Later that week, Afolabi returned to the plant stall. Amara was there, helping a little boy repot a tomato seedling. He watched her for a while, then approached. "You again," she said, smiling. "I want another plant. Or maybe just peace?" He didn't answer. They sat for a moment in silence. She offered him roasted groundnuts. He declined at first, then accepted. Felt strange. Nice even. "What do you really do?" she asked. "I build things. But have you ever grown something?" He shook his head. "Try it. You might like the pace." Meanwhile, David and Bella were busy planning a lavish engagement. Bella insisted on gold-plated invitation cards and wanted to fly in celebrity chefs. David, distracted, couldn't shake off a thought. His father, once so strict, had changed lately. Softer, distant, curious. Then came the turning point. One hot afternoon, Bella drove past Amara's stall. Her car, sleek and shiny, caught every eye. Seeing Amara, she rolled down the window. "Still playing with mud, peasant girl?" she sneered. Amara, wiping sweat from her brow, looked up calmly. "Still driving like kindness is a burden?" Bella's face tightened. "Watch how you talk." "I do," Amara said. "Every word is a seed." Bella hissed and sped off. That evening, Afolabi sat quietly in his garden with the seedling Amara had given him. It was thriving. David approached, tense. "Dad, I need your blessing. Bella and I want to marry in 2 months." Afolabi looked at the seedling, then at his son. "Invite her for dinner." The night came. Bella arrived in stilettos, perfume trailing behind her like smoke. The dining table was set. As she sat, she didn't notice Amara stepping quietly into the room from the hallway. "Good evening," Amara said, her eyes locked on Bella. Bella froze. What is she doing here?" Bella asked. Afolabi stood. "She's my guest." David looked back and forth. "You know each other?" "She insulted me," Amara said gently. "But that is not why I am here." Bella laughed nervously. "This is some joke." "No," Afolabi said. "It's a test. One you already failed." The morning sun rose gently over the city, casting soft golden light across rooftops and busy roads. But inside a grand mansion nestled quietly in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods, Papa Thomas sat on the edge of his bed, fully dressed and lost in thought. Today wasn't just any day. Today, the truth would meet the heart. Downstairs, Bernard paced the floor. He had barely slept. The image of Mary's kindness, her strength, her honesty, it all lingered in his mind. A woman like that was rare. And today, he was going to introduce her to a new reality. At the same time, miles across town, Mary stood in front of a large black gate, clutching a folded paper with an address. She looked up at the towering mansion, confused and hesitant. Could this really be it? She whispered to herself. A security guard opened the small side gate. "You're here for Papa Thomas?" Mary nodded, holding her breath. "Come in," the guard said. She stepped through, her sandals making soft sounds on the polished tiles. Everything around her looked like a movie scene, trimmed flowers, sparkling windows, a fountain in the middle of the compound. She was still in awe when a familiar voice called her name. "Mary?" She turned. Her mouth fell open. It was Bernard. "You live here?" she asked, barely able to breathe. Before Bernard could respond, Papa Thomas walked out smiling. "My daughter," he said warmly. "Papa," she gasped, looking from him to Bernard, back and forth. "You're his father?" The two men smiled gently. "I told you," Papa Thomas said, "I was only hiding peace." Tears welled in Mary's eyes. I didn't know." "That's what makes your kindness real," Bernard said, walking to her. "You helped someone you thought had nothing." She looked down, overwhelmed. "I just did what I thought was right. And that," Papa Thomas said, "is what makes you gold." They invited her in. For the first time, Mary sat in a luxurious home, not as a guest, but as someone who was truly seen and valued. That evening, Bernard sat beside her in the living room, gently holding her hand. "I won't waste your time," he said. "Mary, I love you. From the moment I saw you near that little farm. From the way you spoke up for my father without even knowing who he was. From your honesty, your strength. I knew you were different." She looked at him, heart racing. "I want to marry you," Bernard said. "If you'll have me." Mary wiped a tear from her cheek and smiled. "I love you, too. I never imagined this, but my heart is sure." "Yes, Bernard. I'll marry you." But just as joy was blooming in one house, in another part of the city, envy was turning poisonous. Vanessa sat in a luxurious spa when she overheard two ladies chatting. "Did you hear? Bernard is getting married." "What? To that village girl?" Vanessa's lips froze. Her glass slipped from her hand. "What did you just say?" she snapped. The news hit her like thunder. She stormed out, her heels clicking like gunshots. In her car, she pulled out her phone and dialed a number. A man answered, deep voice, street-hardened. "Sko," she said coldly. "I have a job for you." "I'm listening." "I want you to plant drugs in Bernard's office. Frame him. Destroy him. And that girl? Make sure she doesn't make it to the wedding. And that old man too, remove him from my sight forever." But what Vanessa didn't know was that Sko owed his life to Bernard. Years ago, Bernard had helped Sko's sister get a job. When their rent was due and their mother was sick, Bernard paid the bills. So Sko recorded the whole call, every wicked word. And the next morning, he walked straight into Bernard's office. "Sir," he said, "I came to return a favor." He played the recording. Vanessa's voice filled the room like poison. Bernard sat frozen, his face drained of color. "She wanted to kill us?" he whispered. "I couldn't let it happen," Sko said. Hours later, Vanessa was arrested at a restaurant. "Wait, what? What's going on?" she shouted as officers closed in. "You're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy." In court, she denied everything. But then the recording played, clear as day. She sobbed. "Please. I was drunk. Angry. I didn't mean it." The judge looked at her with no emotion. "You didn't plan evil while drunk. You were fully awake." Vanessa was sentenced to 15 years in prison. No bail? Meanwhile, Bernard took Mary to her village. He knelt before her parents. "I'm not just marrying Mary," he said. "I'm joining her family. I want you to leave this village. Come to the city. I have a house ready. You've worked hard. It's time you rest." Mary's parents wept with joy. Her father placed his hand on Bernard's head and blessed him. 1 month later, their wedding lit up the city. Not for the glamour, but for the story behind it, a story of humility, of heart, of kindness repaid. Papa Thomas stood beside them, smiling proudly. His mission was complete. And a few days after the wedding, Bernard and Mary walked hand in hand along a quiet beach during their honeymoon, barefoot with the wind in their hair and peace in their hearts. "I still can't believe all of this," Mary said softly. "It's real," Bernard said. "And it's just the beginning." This story reminds us, true wealth is not measured by cars or mansions, but by the strength of our hearts. Kindness shown in silence is louder than words shouted in pride. And sometimes, the person we help today may be the key to our tomorrow. What lesson did you take away from Papa Thomas's journey? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Look out for our next story coming soon. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, stay kind, stay hopeful, stay human.